Yo, what's the deal? Welcome to In Your League. I'm your host, Cheddar Chaz. By now, you've seen this report from Chris Haynes. Says New Orleans Pelicans are disappointing the market and informing teams that Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Derek Queen, and Jeremiah Fierce will remain with the organization past the February 5th trade deadline. Now, of course, Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fierce were never going anywhere. I have my suspicions about Trey Murphy actually being on the trade block. I mean, if they got a incredible offer like Desmond Bane's offer this past off season. If they got that type of offer, I believe they would entertain trading Trey Murphy. But I've always said that was more of an off season deal. Once you see where the lottery falls, if a team wants to trade, a late lottery pick, maybe mid lottery pick, like maybe pick 9, pick 10 for someone like Trey Murphy, that's something I think that would really intrigue the Pelicans. But I don't think they were ever really intending to trade Trey Murphy. Zion Williamson, I think if they got a really decent offer, they would entertain trading him. Herb Jones, I think they made a mistake not trading Herb Jones this past offseason. With that contract extension, Herb Jones already being 27 years old, is going to be 1 year closer to his new. It's going to be 1 year closer to that new money kicking in, that $20 million per year kicking in. It's going to be 1 year away from that. I think next offseason he's still going to be making around $15 million. But again, he's going to be 28 years old. The contract kicks in when he's 29 years old. He's coming off a disastrous year. Hasn't played much. Got injured in a game of one of the teams. Supposedly, the Lakers were interested, and he got injured during that game. So I can't imagine his trade value is what the Pelicans had hoped for, with 2 firsts being the deal they had hoped to receive in exchange for Herb Jones. Also, keep in mind, a guy, and y'all heard me explain this several times, bro. A guy like Herb Jones, a quote-unquote defensive ace, those guys are mostly valuable in the offseason. I say that because in the offseason, you have questionable teams like, let's say the Wizards, for example. You have a questionable team like the Wizards that say, hey, man, now we got Trae Young, we got Alex Sarr, we got some pieces. We just need Herb Jones to show up our defense. We'll give you 2 firsts for Herb. But during the season, those deals become a lot cheaper. Those deals become a lot, more quote unquote buy low. Like, for example, Trae Young would not have been traded this past offseason without a pick. Now they pretty much gave him away to the Wizards for salary cap relief. And the Wizards didn't have to attach a pick whatsoever because he's had a down season. He's been injured. So his value has decreased. So far, Herb Jones' value has decreased. That's why the Pelicans probably aren't getting as attractive as offers as they would have hoped. And this is something I really urged against. I really, really urged against. If you saw me on the show, I used to be on Pro Pals Talk. I spoke about this ad nauseum. Like, yo, you need to move Herb Jones now and extract as much value as you can. Because I think about the Brooklyn Nets and what they did with Royce O'Neal and Dorian Finney-Smith and all those guys, where they had like a first on the table for Royce O'Neal. They turned it down. They wanted 2 firsts for Dorian Finney-Smith. Ended up trading him for like 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Just holding on to depreciating assets for far too long. The Brandon Ingram trade. Like, there's so many mistakes that these teams make holding on to depreciating assets for too long and not selling at their peak. At this point, Herb Jones is not going to get any better. He's not going to get any younger. He's not going to get any more athletic. You probably have already seen the best of Herb Jones. The injuries are starting to stack up. It was just, I understand why they gave him the extension, because he was ultimately going to be on an expiring this year, and that also might have like knocked down his value. But on the other side of it is, now some teams may consider that pay raise he get for $20 million per year as like a bit of a poison pill, especially in this new CBA. But one thing Chris Haynes didn't mention was Jordan Poole. I think Jordan Poole's contract going to be a lot more valuable in the offseason when he becomes a $30+ million expirer. And that's probably the most valuable that contract is ever going to be. Kevon Looney, he's already essentially at $8 million expiring. The Pelicans can realistically put together close to $50 million in expiring money this offseason. That's very interesting. He didn't mention DeJounte Murray. I don't know if he didn't mention him because it's like this guy hasn't played. He's not going anywhere. I don't know if he didn't mention him for those reasons. You also got Jose Alvarado, who's been attached to a lot of different teams. He didn't mention him. Didn't mention Jordan Hawkins. Didn't mention Eve Messi. He just mentioned pretty much the big money guys, Sands, Poole, and Murray. So I guess that means everyone else is on the table for the Pelicans. So place your bids and please come get some of these dudes. But that's for today's show, man. I appreciate you tapping in with me. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think Herb Jones's value is? And what do you think about the Ja Morant potential deal, as Shams reported earlier? That's for today's show. I'm out. Peace.